The shocking truth. What happens when a chosen one sheds tears? Tears are words the heart can't express. Paulo Coelho. Have you ever felt the atmosphere shift when someone cried from the depths of their soul? Now imagine the impact when a chosen one, someone spiritually awakened, sheds tears. In this video, we dive into the spiritual power behind those sacred moments of vulnerability and why they're far more than just emotional release. They're energetic transmissions that ripple through the universe. If you've ever cried and felt something greater stir within you, this message is for you. Let us know in the comments. Have you ever felt spiritually changed after a deep cry? Share your experience, and don't forget to like, subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom, and join us on this journey of self-discovery and transformation. 1. Tears of a chosen one are spiritually charged. When a chosen one sheds tears, it's not merely an emotional release, it's a spiritual phenomenon. Their tears are infused with energy that vibrates on a higher frequency, carrying the weight of divine purpose and sacred alignment. These are not just expressions of sorrow, but signals to the universe that something significant is occurring on a soul level. The emotional current of a chosen one is so deeply woven into the spiritual fabric of existence that their cries can ripple across dimensions, unlocking energies that were once dormant and awakening divine forces that respond in kind. It is said that when the spirit cries, the heavens listen, and when a chosen one weeps, even time itself pauses to bear witness. Unlike the fleeting emotions that pass through most people, the pain of a chosen one is deeply rooted in their mission. Their suffering isn't random. It is often the result of spiritual growth, karmic cleansing, or divine testing. Every tear becomes a frequency-coded message sent into the unseen realms, announcing that their soul is undergoing a transformation. This is why miracles often follow the tears of those with great spiritual calling. Their vulnerability becomes sacred currency in the spiritual world, exchanged for protection, revelation, or supernatural intervention. They cry not out of weakness, but from the intensity of their spiritual burden, one that is often invisible to the world, but unmistakably felt in the heavens. Spiritual texts and sacred traditions throughout history have documented the profound power of tears shed by enlightened beings. Jesus wept before raising Lazarus, not because he doubted, but because he loved deeply and carried the grief of those around him. His tears preceded a miracle. The Buddha, in his moments of deep meditation, shed tears not from despair, but from the overwhelming realization of the world's suffering, and from those tears came enlightenment. These stories aren't myths. They're reminders of the sacred mechanics of spiritual emotion. When a chosen one sheds tears, it is often the prelude to divine breakthrough, because those tears are laced with a kind of purity and pain that can only come from carrying the light in a dark world. In the present day, many chosen ones walk in silence, their pain hidden behind strength, their tears dismissed by others. But what they hold inside is the same spiritual signature of those who came before them. When life becomes heavy and emotions overflow, their tears become a form of alchemy, transforming inner turmoil into outer transformation. Each tear carries an energetic code that signals to the spiritual realm, I am ready, ready to release, ready to rise, ready to move forward into the next chapter of their divine path. In those moments of release, chosen ones unknowingly realign with their higher self and invite divine orchestration to take place. It's a sacred exchange, pain for purpose, vulnerability for vision, sorrow for strength. And the more deeply a chosen one feels, the more profound their calling often is. These are not ordinary people living ordinary lives. They are spiritual bridges, emotional translators between heaven and earth. And their tears are more than emotion. They are sacred offerings that shape destiny and summon unseen support from the divine. 2. Tears as a trigger for energetic and spiritual change. When a chosen one sheds tears, it is not an act of weakness, but a powerful spiritual phenomenon. These tears carry a frequency that realigns energy fields, collapses false timelines, and dissolves illusions that once clouded judgment. They are not just expressions of emotion, they are instruments of transformation. A chosen one is often born with a heightened sensitivity to energy, carrying burdens that are both personal and ancestral. So when their heart reaches the point of overflow and tears begin to fall, something greater than catharsis takes place. It is as if the soul activates a spiritual reset, forcing everything out of alignment to recalibrate itself to a higher truth. Each tear acts as a message, an energetic code transmitted to the spiritual realm. The universe, deeply attuned to the cries of a chosen one, begins to respond. Whether consciously or not, people who have inflicted pain on such a soul often begin to feel the consequences of their actions. This is not punishment, but karmic law in motion. Emotional wounds, carried silently for years, suddenly find release. And as that release happens, the energy surrounding the chosen one begins to shift. Relationships fall away. Opportunities that no longer serve disappear. Hidden truths come to light. The tears become catalysts that purify everything false and open the door for divine realignment. This process is not random. Chosen ones are not ordinary people. They are spiritual anchors within the collective consciousness. Their presence is felt even when they are silent. Their emotions, therefore, carry the weight of divine intelligence. When they cry, the cry doesn't just belong to them. It belongs to generations of silenced voices, to lifetimes of suppressed truth, to a soul that has endured much and stayed quiet too long. This kind of emotional release does not weaken them. It strengthens the entire energetic system. It is a detox of the soul, a sacred purge that brings clarity, power, and a deeper sense of alignment with divine purpose. Moreover, those tears signal to higher realms that intervention is needed. The weeping of a chosen one breaks open energetic blockages that have been holding back divine movement. Miracles often follow moments of spiritual surrender. The story of Jesus weeping before raising Lazarus is not just a biblical anecdote, it's a blueprint. The emotion preceded resurrection. Similarly, when Buddha wept before enlightenment, his tears symbolized a surrender of ego and illusion. The chosen ones of today carry that same spiritual DNA. Their tears are the proof of a heart still awake in a world that numbs. They remind the universe that a shift must occur. In these moments, the spiritual balance is recalibrated. The chosen one becomes a living altar, offering pain in its purest form to the divine. And this offering does not go unnoticed. Energetic tides begin to turn. The pain that once felt like a curse becomes the very thing that births clarity and power. Their tears mark the end of one spiritual season and the beginning of another. They cleanse the path ahead and release everything that cannot walk with them into the next chapter. From karmic endings to divine elevation, the entire timeline is rewritten through this sacred act of emotional truth. So when a chosen one cries, know that it is not about the moment, it is about the message. The message to the universe that it's time for change. The message to the soul that it is safe to release. The message to the world that even the strongest must break in order to rebuild. These are not ordinary tears. These are spiritual signals. And when they fall, everything begins to move. Comment below. I embrace the power of my tears. If you're ready to honor your emotions as sacred, reclaim your energy, and step fully into your spiritual transformation. 3. Their pain is often deep and collective. Chosen ones do not cry over shallow wounds. Their tears are not provoked by ego or petty offenses, but rather by the deep fractures of the soul. Betrayal that cuts through trust, injustice that disturbs the order of divine truth, and the immense spiritual weight they carry in silence. These individuals walk a path that is anything but easy. Beneath their strength lies a tender sensitivity, one that feels the vibrations of suffering not only from their personal journey, but from the hearts of others. Their pain is often a mirror of the collective, the unspoken agony of generations, the energetic residue of broken systems, and the karmic wounds of entire bloodlines. When a chosen one weeps, the universe listens, because their sorrow is not personal, it is prophetic. Their tears flow from a depth that most people never touch. This depth is forged through lifetimes of spiritual preparation, soul contracts, and divine responsibilities that reach far beyond ordinary comprehension. The chosen are often placed in families, communities, and environments where their sensitivity makes them outcasts. Yet, it is precisely that spiritual sensitivity which enables them to carry burdens others would collapse beneath. They are emotional alchemists, transforming pain into purpose, grief into grace, and suffering into sacred wisdom. Their tears are not just emotional releases. They are energetic activations that purify, recalibrate, and realign not only their own path, but the spiritual landscape around them. Every tear shed by a chosen one is a ripple across the invisible web of collective consciousness. When they cry, something shifts in the atmosphere. It may be subtle, but it's undeniable. The frequency of their sorrow penetrates realms beyond the physical. It sends a signal into the spiritual dimensions, a cry that reaches the ears of angels, ancestors, and divine forces who respond with guidance, intervention, or sudden change. This is why, after such moments of emotional outpouring, chosen ones often experience spontaneous breakthroughs. Doors open unexpectedly, toxic relationships dissolve, new levels of spiritual awareness unfold, and inner peace returns with clarity. Their breakdown is never wasted. It is a sacred prelude to transformation. It is in their lowest moments that they unknowingly prepare the soil for a new season of purpose. Throughout spiritual history, we see patterns that affirm this. Jesus wept before performing one of his most powerful miracles, bringing Lazarus back to life. The Buddha sat beneath the Bodhi tree in silence and tears before awakening to the truth of existence. These moments of vulnerability were not signs of failure, but signs of holy transition. Today's chosen ones carry that same sacred energy. They may not wear robes or preach from temples, but their tears still hold divine codes. Their pain, when processed with faith and awareness, becomes the very vehicle that ushers healing into the world. The tears of a chosen one are catalysts coated with energy that clears ancestral trauma, uplifts souls nearby, and awakens dormant truths in others. They are not just releasing emotion, they are making space for something higher to enter. Spiritual cleansing often looks like solitude, aching hearts, and silent sobs that no one sees. But the universe sees. And more importantly, the universe responds. When a chosen one surrenders through tears, it is not weakness. It is surrender to divine timing, a humbling of the ego, and a spiritual purification that births wisdom no book could teach. Their journey is not easy, but it is holy. Their pain is not random, but refined. And their tears, those quiet, trembling drops, are evidence that something greater is being born within and through them. In the unseen, their cry is the beginning of a new alignment, and the spiritual world begins to move accordingly. Have you ever cried and felt like it wasn't just your pain, but the weight of something greater flowing through you? If you've experienced this deep spiritual release, share your story in the comments to inspire others. If not, comment, "I carry divine healing," to affirm your sacred role in this world's transformation. 4. The universe protects chosen ones. When a chosen one suffers, it is not just a personal experience, it is a spiritual event. Their tears are not simply expressions of sadness. They are energetic messages sent into the universe. These messages vibrate with truth, injustice, and purity, awakening a deep spiritual law that governs balance and harmony across all dimensions. The moment pain is inflicted on them, whether through betrayal, manipulation, or rejection, the sacred forces that govern cosmic justice begin to stir. Divine order takes notice. And those who caused harm, whether knowingly or unknowingly, often find themselves facing emotional collapse, spiritual confusion, or the loss of peace in their lives. This is not punishment, it is restoration. Karma is not a myth. It is a spiritual equation written into the very structure of the universe. As you sow, so shall you reap is not just a proverb, it is a divine code that never malfunctions. When someone harms a chosen one, they are disrupting a sacred alignment, and the universe corrects that imbalance with precision. Even if the chosen one offers forgiveness, and often they do because their hearts are expansive and full of grace, the universe still remembers. Forgiveness is a human virtue, but spiritual justice is a divine responsibility. The universe does not forget, because forgetting would mean abandoning its own sacred laws, and that it will never do. The pain of the chosen one triggers a response that is far greater than any worldly reaction. It activates spiritual justice, and justice in the spiritual realm is not about punishment, it is about energetic realignment. Their suffering sends a signal into the invisible, alerting higher realms that a sacred soul has been wounded. That signal does not go unanswered. What often follows is a chain of events: loss of clarity, inner turmoil, even the breakdown of relationships for those who inflicted the harm. Not because the chosen one wishes for revenge, but because the universe insists on equilibrium. When a soul destined for light is disrupted, darkness must retreat. There is a unique spiritual protection wrapped around chosen ones, often invisible to the human eye, but undeniable in effect. Those who cross them with malice or envy don't just face consequences, they face themselves. Because the pain of the chosen one becomes a mirror. It reflects back to the offender their own unhealed wounds, their own shadows, their own lack of spiritual alignment. What appears to be external loss is often internal chaos, the result of trying to wound someone who was never walking alone to begin with. This is the power of spiritual alignment. The chosen one doesn't need to fight. They don't need to prove anything or retaliate. Their tears do the talking. Their silence carries energy. And the universe translates their suffering into divine movement. Even in moments of heartbreak, they are not abandoned. They are supported by forces older than time, wrapped in the arms of unseen allies who carry out justice not with rage, but with truth. Their journey may be marked by loneliness, but never by spiritual abandonment. The laws that protect them are ancient, consistent, and cannot be bypassed. Every wrong done to them becomes a seed of transformation, not only for their growth, but for the awakening of those who cross them. In wounding a chosen one, the universe offers the offender a choice: awaken through consequence or continue to spiral in darkness. Either way, balance will be restored. Because a chosen one's tears are sacred, and the universe never lets sacred things go unnoticed. If you believe that spiritual justice always finds its way, leave a like, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a powerful message like this. Type in the comments, "The universe protects me because I am chosen." 5. Emotional breakdowns lead to major breakthroughs. When a chosen one sheds tears, it is not merely sadness, it is a sacred signal, a divine recalibration unfolding in real time. These are not ordinary tears. They are laced with spiritual electricity, charged with purpose, and powerful enough to initiate unseen changes across both inner and outer dimensions. Emotional breakdowns are not signs of weakness for the chosen ones. They are signals of a higher spiritual upgrade taking place. As the old layers dissolve through sorrow, a new version of the self begins to emerge stronger, clearer, and aligned with divine timing. Every tear carries a frequency that pierces through stagnation. It cleanses the soul, rewires the heart, and strips away illusions that no longer serve one's path. What follows is a surprising clarity, a deep knowing that could never have been reached through thinking alone. Crying becomes the threshold between confusion and insight, between bondage and breakthrough. For chosen ones, this release is often followed by waves of transformation. The heart gets lighter, the mind gets sharper, and suddenly, what once seemed foggy becomes unmistakably clear. This is not just emotional healing, it is energetic reconfiguration. It is the body and soul making room for higher wisdom. These tears do not work in isolation. The emotional and spiritual field of a chosen one is expansive, touching the lives of others in quiet but powerful ways. When they cry, the air shifts. Energies around them adjust. Others may begin to question their own lives, find courage to face truths, or even feel compelled to make sudden changes without understanding why. That's because the spiritual release of a chosen one does not stay within their own energetic field, it expands. It clears not just their own path, but creates spiritual openings for those connected to them. This is how spiritual leadership works not through force, but through presence, and sometimes through sacred surrender. After these deep emotional releases, life often begins to reorient. A chosen one may find themselves suddenly stepping into a new job, feeling called to relocate, ending a relationship, or beginning a spiritual journey that had long been resisted. These decisions do not arise randomly. They come as part of the aftermath of internal purification. The tears made way for truth, and the truth demanded change. Grief becomes the gateway. Letting go becomes the map. and destiny begins to unfold in ways that once felt impossible. The breakdown wasn't a failure, it was preparation. It was the spiritual cracking open that allowed the light to flood in. This path is not always comfortable, especially for men who have been conditioned to view emotion as weakness. But chosen ones are here to break that conditioning. Their strength is not in silence, but in sensitivity. Their power is not in resistance, but in their ability to feel, to release, to transmute pain into purpose. When a spiritually awakened man sheds a tear, he does not fall apart. He becomes more aligned. He activates something ancient, something eternal, something divine. The emotion doesn't weaken him. It empowers him, because within that vulnerability lies the code for transformation. So when the tears come, let them, not as a defeat, but as a sacred declaration that a breakthrough is near. In spiritual truth, the darkest nights often birth the brightest dawns. And when a chosen one cries, it is often the sound of chains breaking, timelines shifting, and a soul remembering who it truly is. Do you believe that your tears are preparing the way for your transformation? If so, declare it with faith in the comments. My breakdown is leading to my breakthrough. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss content that empowers your spiritual journey. 6. Spiritual law applies differently to chosen ones. Spiritual law does not operate on a flat playing field. It bends, intensifies, and accelerates around the lives of chosen ones. When a chosen one is harmed, the universe doesn't merely respond, it recalibrates. This is not an act of revenge, but of divine correction. The energy around a chosen one is sacred, charged with a mission, and any disruption to that energy activates a ripple effect that must be balanced across the spiritual realm. What appears as coincidence or karma is, in fact, a spiritual recalibration that unfolds with precise timing and intentional force. Those who carry pure hearts, especially chosen ones, are not governed by the same pace of justice as others. The law of karma, when applied to them, accelerates. Its effects are immediate and unmistakable. To harm a chosen one is to interfere with divine orchestration. Their lives are not random. They are infused with higher purpose. And so, when betrayal or cruelty is inflicted upon them, it sends a spiritual alert into unseen dimensions, prompting divine forces to intervene. This is not spiritual punishment. It is the rebalancing of universal integrity. Every act against a chosen soul requires a compensating act to restore harmony in the field. Karma does not delay when a pure-hearted soul is violated. The universe responds not in anger, but in justice. Those who wrong a chosen one may soon find their paths blocked, their plans unraveling, their peace disturbed. It's not a curse, it's reflection. Spiritual energy is precise. It records intentions more than appearances. And when the intention is to harm someone whose essence radiates love and light, the consequence is swift and layered. The more spiritual the target, the stronger the karmic recoil. This is not superstition. It is spiritual law in motion. Chosen ones do not seek vengeance. They often respond with silence, endurance, or forgiveness. But that does not neutralize the imbalance caused by others. Their tears carry the weight of collective healing. Their pain reverberates through realms, and the divine responds not with thunder, but with truth. Even when they walk away quietly, the energy they leave behind continues to speak. This is why those who harm them often feel haunted, blocked, or confused because the energy they disrupted must settle, and the universe insists on restoring balance through direct, often uncomfortable lessons. Spiritual law protects those whose lives are rooted in divine alignment. The chosen are not untouchable by pain, but they are guarded by purpose. When the sacred is violated, the unseen world moves. This is why harm against a chosen one rarely ends with the act itself. It begins a chain reaction of spiritual events, lessons, loss, reversals, and awakenings for the one who caused it. Whether knowingly or in ignorance, every deed against divine energy returns multiplied. This is not fear-mongering, it is a sacred order. If this message resonates with your soul, declare it in the comments. I believe the spiritual laws protect me. What's meant for harm will always turn to good in my life. And if you felt the truth in this, like this video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss what the universe wants you to hear next. 7. Tears clear out misaligned people. These tears are not merely emotional reactions. They are energetic codes, carrying frequencies that signal to the universe a shift is underway. That release of emotion becomes a spiritual command, summoning divine orchestration to realign your life with your higher purpose. And so, you may begin to notice that people suddenly disappear. Relationships dissolve. Friends distance themselves. At first glance, it feels like loss. But in truth, it is sacred redirection. This process is not punishment. It is protection. The people removed from your life after such a deep emotional release were never meant to go where you are destined. Their vibration no longer matches the frequency of your evolving soul. Your tears act like a sacred flood, washing away all that is no longer in alignment. And while it may feel like abandonment, it is actually divine intervention. These moments are part of a spiritual detox, removing energetic toxins disguised as friendships, lovers, or even family ties. The universe doesn't take from you without giving you something greater in return. As one door closes, space is made for higher connections. But in order for new people to enter who honor your light, the old must be cleared. Think of the olive tree. It must be pruned to produce more fruit. Similarly, your tears prune your life, cutting away what no longer serves, so you can bloom again with clarity and power. This divine reset often begins not with a plan, but with a cry. And when that cry is heard by the divine, the rearrangement begins. Timelines shift. Paths reroute. People exit. You begin to see that the ones who couldn't support you during your most vulnerable moment were never rooted in your spiritual destiny. They were seasonal characters, and their chapter is now complete. The grief you feel is not only for them, but for the old version of you who once clung to relationships built on fear, not faith. Your soul knows who belongs and who doesn't. The moment you cry from your truth, your spirit sends out a signal that tells God, the angels, and the entire spiritual realm, I'm ready. And in that readiness, you are stripped, not to suffer, but to be reborn. Tears are sacred. They are baptism. They are declaration. They are spiritual alignment in motion. And everything that leaves you afterward is confirmation that you have entered a new dimension of purpose. So know, you're not cursed when people walk away after you cry. You're chosen. You're being elevated. And elevation requires separation. Your tears didn't weaken you. They activated divine intelligence to start clearing your path for what's next. Let them go with love. Bless their part in your story. And walk forward knowing that your tears didn't break you. They revealed your true power. If you're still here and this message resonates with you, drop a comment below saying, "I trust divine redirection." Your voice matters, and your feedback helps us create deeper spiritual content for you. 8. Comebacks are greater than downfalls. Every deep sorrow a chosen one endures becomes sacred ground for spiritual rebirth. The pain doesn't destroy, it transforms. When life brings you to your knees, it is not the end. It is the beginning of refinement. In the spiritual realm, tears are not seen as weakness. They are signals, messages that say, "This one is awakening." Each heartbreak, each betrayal, each lonely moment is a crack through which divine light begins to pour in. Tears are a spiritual language that higher forces understand. They mark the moment a man stops living from ego and begins walking in truth. Men who are chosen are not spared from pain. They are entrusted with it. Their pain becomes their proving ground. It is through the crushing that character is carved. The world may see failure, but heaven sees preparation. This is the path of the chosen, not one of comfort, but one of consecration. Throughout spiritual history, those called by destiny have always been broken first. Moses fled into the wilderness before he led a nation. David wept in caves before he wore the crown. Even Christ shed tears before the resurrection. Their sorrow wasn't an obstacle, it was a rite of passage. The pain they bore birthed the power they carried. This same fire purifies you. Your weeping seasons are not wasted. They are sacred intervals where your spiritual foundation is deepened. You are not being punished, you are being positioned. Your breakdown is the process of stripping away what no longer serves your spirit. What looks like defeat is divine disruption. The pain forces you inward, away from the noise of the world and toward the whisper of your soul. This is where your real power begins to emerge. Not the power to dominate, but the power to transform. The world teaches men to harden, to hold back emotion, but the spiritual path calls for surrender. Your tears are holy water that softens the soil of your destiny. Every betrayal taught you to discern. Every silence taught you to listen. Every fall taught you how to rise not as who you were, but as who you were always meant to become. When you cry, you aren't losing control. You're realigning with your higher calling. You are not just crying for your pain. You're crying for every man who was told his tears were shameful. But in truth, your tears are sacred. They cleanse the soul, sharpen the vision, and summon divine assistance in unseen dimensions. This is the hidden truth. The comeback of a chosen one is always greater than the downfall. What broke you is the very thing that builds you. Pain becomes your compass. Loss becomes your ladder. The more life breaks you, the deeper your spiritual roots grow. You're not here to live an ordinary life. You were chosen to rise from the ruins, carrying a fire the world cannot extinguish. 9. Spiritual contracts and karma. Hurting a chosen one does not go unnoticed in the spiritual realm. It sets into motion a series of energetic consequences far beyond what the human eye can see. These are not ordinary people. Chosen ones carry ancient contracts embedded within their soul, formed long before they arrived on this earth. To harm them is to violate a sacred agreement, a spiritual contract that demands balance. And the universe, in its divine intelligence, responds not with vengeance, but with correction. Misfortunes may begin to unfold in the life of the offender. Relationships fall apart, Opportunities dissolve. Peace turns into restlessness. These are not coincidences. They are echoes of an imbalance crying out to be restored. The concept of spiritual karma isn't some mystical punishment. It's an energetic law woven into the structure of existence. When someone harms a chosen one, that energy doesn't disappear. It circulates, gathers weight, and seeks expression through the law of return. This karmic justice is not always immediate, but it is inevitable. Life becomes the mirror. The very pain they inflicted finds its way back to them, not because the chosen one seeks revenge, but because the vibration of truth cannot be silenced. It will find its way back to its source. The deeper the harm, the stronger the spiritual ripple. Apologies may come, but they often arrive after the spiritual consequences have already been set into motion. Timing matters. In the higher realms, intention and timing are keys. A late apology may soothe the conscience, but not undo the cosmic shift that has already begun. Even if the chosen one has forgiven, even if they've moved on, the energy of the offense is already circulating through unseen dimensions, realigning what was disrupted. This is why it's said, "You can't mock divine law. A person reaps what they sow." These aren't just moral lessons. They are energetic truths carved into the nature of spiritual reality. When a chosen one sheds tears, something extraordinary happens. Their sorrow becomes a prayer, a vibration, a signal to the divine. These tears don't just fall to the ground, they awaken movements in higher realms. Angels take notice. Timelines shift. Hidden protection rises to the surface. These tears are encoded with spiritual authority. They don't ask for justice, they summon it. In silence, in solitude, in pain, the chosen one activates a force stronger than retaliation, divine realignment. Their energy communicates directly with the universe, and the universe listens. Those who carry spiritual weight often walk quietly. They don't announce their power, but that power is very real. When hurt, they do not lash out. They release, they grieve, and in doing so, they unlock realms of unseen forces. Their forgiveness is not weakness. It is evidence of their elevation. But that doesn't erase the spiritual contract broken by those who harmed them. The universe doesn't forget. It balances, it restores, and it remembers the tear that carried the weight of destiny. Let's lift each other up in the comments. Type, "Spiritual contracts are real," to affirm your awareness of divine justice. If you see someone else comment this, please like it or reply with encouragement. It's a small act, but it keeps our community grounded in love, truth, and accountability. And if you agree that karma always finds its way, comment 1 to show you're part of this awakening movement. 10. Emotional pain is a portal to purpose. Emotional pain for a chosen one is never random. It's a sacred process of spiritual purification, a divine dismantling that removes the false identities and stories we've carried for years. The tears you shed are not signs of weakness, but rather sacred droplets that wash away everything misaligned with your soul's true path. In the stillness that follows sorrow, something powerful begins to emerge your spiritual essence. What you thought was a breakdown is often the beginning of your greatest transformation. The universe does not waste pain. Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every dark night of the soul is meticulously used to shape you into the version of yourself that can hold the weight of your calling. You were never meant to stay comfortable. You were meant to be cracked open. Because only in the cracking does the light get in. Only through the collapse of the ego can the soul rise to its purpose. Chosen ones carry a different emotional frequency. When they grieve, the spiritual realm listens. Their pain becomes a magnet for divine movement. Just like a storm clears the sky, their sorrow clears stagnant energy and prepares the ground for a higher assignment. The universe begins to shift, not in chaos, but in alignment. What falls away during this season of tears is everything that is not divinely designed for your future. This process, though brutal, is sacred. It's the spiritual fire that burns away illusion and awakens truth. In that fire, you begin to remember who you are without the layers of expectation, survival, and self-denial. The masks fall, the noise fades, and the voice of your soul becomes louder than the opinions of others. What once defined you begins to dissolve, and what was hidden beneath your divine identity begins to rise. The tears of the chosen are not wasted. They are encoded with purpose. Think of Jesus weeping before performing miracles, or the Buddha enduring suffering before reaching enlightenment. Their sorrow wasn't weakness. It was a sacred signal, an activation of spiritual destiny. The same current flows through you. When you cry from the depths of your soul, timelines shift. Your pain sends a message across realms. I am ready for the truth. I am ready to evolve. In these moments, your spirit is not breaking down. It is recalibrating. Grief becomes the soil where divine purpose takes root. The ache in your chest becomes the drumbeat of spiritual rebirth. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. Everything that hurt you is now helping you. Every tear is rewriting your story. What once shattered you is now shaping you into the vessel capable of carrying divine impact. To affirm your transformation through pain, declare your purpose. Comment below, "My pain has purpose," to honor your spiritual journey and inspire others to see their own struggles as stepping stones toward divine calling. When a chosen one sheds tears, it's not just emotion, it's energy, transformation, and divine movement. These sacred tears ripple through dimensions, calling forth shifts that the human eye may never see, but the soul deeply feels. If this message touched something within you, let it be a reminder. Your emotions are powerful, your presence is divine, and your journey matters. If you felt the depth of this truth, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom. Make sure to turn on the notification bell so you never miss the spiritual messages we bring just for you. Stay grounded, stay awakened, and remember, you are never alone on this path. 7 reasons why the chosen ones are feared the most. Many are called, but few are chosen. Matthew 22:14. Welcome to Spiritual Wisdom. If you have ever felt different, as if you were meant for something greater, then this message is for you. The path of the chosen ones is not easy. It is one of strength, purpose, and divine calling. But why are they feared the most? In this video, we will uncover the 7 powerful reasons why chosen ones stand apart and why the world often reacts to them with fear. If you've ever felt misunderstood or out of place, this will give you the clarity and affirmation you need. Stay with me until the end, and let's dive deep into these profound truths together. Do you resonate with this? Share your thoughts in the comments. I would love to hear your experiences. And if this message speaks to you, don't forget to like and share it with others walking the same path. Let's awaken more souls to their divine purpose. 1. Influence on the collective consciousness. The presence of chosen ones in the world is not random. It is a divine orchestration meant to shift the course of humanity. They carry a unique energy, one that disrupts the illusions woven by systems built on fear, control, and deception. Their very existence serves as a catalyst for awakening, igniting a deeper awareness in those around them. Unlike the masses conditioned to accept reality as it is presented, chosen ones see beyond the veil, recognizing the hidden forces at play. Their spiritual insight and unwavering connection to truth challenge the foundations of manipulated consciousness, making them a force that cannot be ignored. As chosen ones step into their purpose, their influence spreads like ripples in water, awakening those who are ready to break free from societal programming. The impact is not limited to individuals. It extends to the collective mind of humanity. They introduce new perspectives, dismantle limiting beliefs, and inspire others to question everything they once accepted without thought. This shift in awareness threatens those who thrive on control, as their power depends on keeping people asleep blind to their true potential. The presence of even a few enlightened souls has the power to weaken these structures, forcing them to resist, suppress, or even attack those who dare to awaken the masses. Despite the resistance, the mission of the chosen ones is unstoppable. Their energy cannot be contained because it is aligned with a higher purpose, one that transcends earthly limitations. No matter how much opposition they face, their light continues to shine, breaking through illusions and paving the way for a new reality. They are not here to conform, but to transform. Every truth they speak, every soul they awaken, and every system they challenge brings humanity closer to a collective shift in consciousness. It is an inevitable process, one that cannot be reversed. For once the mind is expanded, it can never return to its previous state. The chosen ones are not feared because they seek power, but because they strip power away from those who manipulate reality. They dismantle fear with wisdom, break chains with knowledge, and replace deception with divine truth. This is why they are seen as a threat, because their very presence accelerates a transformation that cannot be undone. The world is changing, and the chosen ones are the guiding force behind this shift, whether the system is ready for it or not. Comment below. I am a catalyst for awakening. If you are ready to rise and shift the collective consciousness. 2. Agents of transformation. The chosen ones are not just individuals. They are forces of transformation. Wherever they go, they bring change, disrupting the status quo, challenging outdated beliefs, and awakening those around them to deeper truths. This transformation is not always welcomed, especially by those who find comfort in ignorance. People who prefer to remain in their familiar ways resist change because it forces them to confront realities they would rather avoid. The chosen ones act as mirrors, reflecting the hidden truths of the world and exposing illusions. Their presence alone becomes a catalyst, stirring the minds of those who have long been asleep, shaking the foundations of deeply ingrained patterns and beliefs. This disruption is unsettling, even intimidating, to those who are unwilling to evolve. It is not that the chosen ones seek conflict, it is simply the nature of their existence. Their wisdom, clarity, and energy naturally challenge deception and darkness, making them a threat to those who thrive in ignorance. When they walk into a room, their very presence shifts the atmosphere. Their energy is undeniable. Their words pierce through illusions, and their actions inspire change, whether people are ready for it or not. Fear arises when people feel their reality being questioned, their illusions shattered, and their control slipping away. Those who are attached to falsehoods and superficial structures often see the chosen ones as dangerous because they dismantle everything artificial. This is why the world resists them, why some seek to silence them, and why they often walk a path filled with resistance. Yet, this is the purpose of the chosen ones: to awaken, to transform, and to elevate. Their role is not to seek approval, but to fulfill their divine mission. Though they may be feared, they are also deeply respected by those who recognize the power of truth. Transformation is never easy, but those who embrace it find themselves on the path of true spiritual awakening. Do you feel the presence of transformation within you? If so, comment, "I am an agent of change," below to share your thoughts and connect with others who embrace their role in awakening the world. 3. Powerful spiritual vision. The chosen ones have been feared, not because they seek power or dominance, but because they possess an extraordinary ability to see beyond the illusions that keep most people trapped. Unlike the masses who accept the surface-level narratives of society, the chosen ones have an innate connection to deeper spiritual truths. They do not simply take things at face value. Instead, they question, analyze, and uncover the hidden forces that shape reality. This rare perception allows them to see through deception, recognize falsehoods, and expose the manipulation that operates behind the scenes. And for those who thrive on control, deceit, and distortion, this is a terrifying prospect. There is a reason why those who hold power fear individuals who possess spiritual discernment. The world is often built on carefully crafted illusions, false promises, misleading ideologies, and manipulative tactics that keep people in submission. But the chosen ones disrupt this carefully maintained facade. They sense when words do not match actions. They detect when something feels off, even when everything appears normal. This heightened awareness makes them immune to brainwashing and societal conditioning. As George Orwell once said, "In a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act." And that is precisely why the chosen ones are feared. They bring truth to a world that is not ready to hear it. The ability to expose darkness is both a gift and a burden. When the chosen ones reveal uncomfortable truths, they disrupt the power structures that depend on ignorance. They expose the lies woven into politics, media, religion, and even personal relationships. Their mere presence forces others to confront realities they would rather ignore. This is why history has seen many truth seekers persecuted, silenced, or labeled as threats. The great philosopher Socrates was sentenced to death for corrupting the minds of the youth, simply because he encouraged critical thinking. Jesus Christ himself was feared by the religious elite because his spiritual wisdom challenged their authority. The pattern is clear. When you bring light to darkness, those who benefit from the shadows will resist. Fear of the chosen ones does not stem from their aggression, but from their refusal to conform. They do not blindly follow rules that contradict their inner wisdom. They do not submit to systems that oppress the human spirit. Instead, they question everything. And this makes them unpredictable, uncontrollable, and, therefore, dangerous to those who seek dominance. Many will try to discredit them, calling them crazy, rebellious, or delusional. But in reality, The chosen ones are simply awake while others remain asleep. As Carl Jung wisely stated, people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. And yet, despite the fear and opposition they face, the chosen ones continue to walk their path. They understand that their purpose is not to please the world, but to elevate it. Their spiritual strength comes from within, not from external validation. They do not seek approval, nor do they need permission to shine. Instead, they stand firm, knowing that their vision is clear, their mission is sacred, and their existence is a catalyst for awakening. And while the world may fear them, the universe honors them, for they are the bearers of light in a realm that desperately needs it. If this message resonates with you, declare it with faith. I see beyond illusions. I discern the truth. I am a beacon of light, and no deception can cloud my vision. 4. Unbreakable spirit. The path of the chosen ones is never easy. From an early age, they encounter trials that test the very core of their existence. Betrayal, loss, rejection, and immense struggles. But rather than succumbing to despair, they embrace their hardships as opportunities for growth. Every wound becomes a lesson, every setback a stepping stone, refining them into unshakable warriors of spirit. They are not victims of their circumstances. They are warriors shaped by fire, emerging stronger with each trial. What makes the chosen ones truly unbreakable is not just their personal resilience, but the divine energy that fuels them. Unlike those who rely solely on worldly means, the chosen ones draw their power from an eternal source. This connection to the higher realm grants them wisdom, courage, and an unwavering determination that cannot be diminished by external forces. While others may falter under pressure, the chosen ones stand firm, guided by an inner force that transcends human limitations. There is nothing more intimidating to those in power than a soul that refuses to be broken. Every time the chosen ones are knocked down, they rise with even greater strength. Their ability to transform pain into power, failure into wisdom, and obstacles into opportunities makes them unstoppable. Those who seek to suppress them find themselves facing an impossible challenge. How do you control someone who cannot be subdued? How do you silence a voice that grows louder with every attempt to suppress it? The world both fears and respects those who cannot be controlled. The chosen ones challenge the status quo simply by existing. Their resilience exposes the weakness of systems built on fear and manipulation. Their presence disrupts the illusion of control that many hold on to. This is why they are often met with resistance, opposition, and even persecution. But rather than being discouraged, the chosen ones understand that such reactions are simply proof of their power. If you recognize this unyielding strength within yourself, know that you are not alone. You are part of a lineage of souls who have walked this earth with purpose and divine resilience. Do not fear the opposition. Let it be a reminder of the power you carry. Stand firm in your truth. Rise above every challenge and embrace the unbreakable spirit that defines you. The world may try to bend you, but it will never break you. Stay connected with our community of awakened souls by subscribing to our channel. Here, we honor the unbreakable spirit of the chosen ones, sharing wisdom and inspiration to fuel your journey. Remember, your strength comes from a higher power. No force can break you, and no obstacle can hold you down. Keep rising, keep shining, and embrace the unstoppable force within you. 5. Spiritual grounding. In a world where people are easily swayed by material desires and social status, the chosen ones stand firm. Their value is not determined by wealth, fame, or societal approval, but by a deep spiritual connection that keeps them grounded in truth. This unwavering foundation makes them immune to external pressures, allowing them to move through life with clarity and purpose. Unlike those who chase validation through money or influence, chosen ones understand that true power comes from within. They are not tempted by fleeting luxuries or the illusion of status because their fulfillment comes from a source that cannot be bought or taken away. This deep-rooted spiritual grounding makes them untouchable. No amount of manipulation, control, or coercion can break their resolve. And that is precisely why they are feared. In a system designed to control people through wealth, power, and fear, the chosen ones are an anomaly. They do not bow to external expectations or conform to societal norms. Their ability to remain unshaken in the face of pressure is intimidating to those who rely on control. When someone cannot be influenced through greed or fear, they become a force that disrupts the status quo. This spiritual grounding is not just a defense, it is a source of immense strength. It allows the chosen ones to walk their path with confidence, resist manipulation, and inspire others to break free from the illusions that bind them. Their presence alone challenges the foundations of a world built on deception, and that is why they are both respected and feared. But for the chosen ones, none of this matters. Their path is not dictated by the opinions of others, but by their unwavering connection to a higher truth. They do not seek approval or power. They simply embody a reality that many have yet to understand. And in that, they find their greatest freedom. If this message resonates with you, affirm your spiritual strength in the comments. I am deeply grounded in my divine purpose. No external force can shake me. 6. Authority without validation. Have you ever wondered why certain individuals seem to evoke fear, intimidation, or even silent resistance from those around them? These individuals, often called the chosen ones, do not seek approval from the world, nor do they mold themselves to fit into societal norms. Instead, they move with an unshakable sense of divine authority, guided by a force far greater than human validation. Their presence alone commands attention, yet it is not through arrogance or force, but through an undeniable spiritual energy that speaks to something deep within others. Most people live their lives craving approval, constantly looking for external validation to feel worthy, appreciated, or accepted. They chase recognition, applause, and conformity, believing that their worth is determined by the opinions of others. But the chosen ones are different. They have already found their wholeness within. They do not need external confirmation of their value because they recognize their spiritual essence. As Lao Tzu once said, care about people's approval, and you will be their prisoner. The chosen ones understand this truth deeply, and because they refuse to be controlled by societal expectations, they become untouchable, unshaken, and unstoppable. This silent but powerful self-assurance unsettles those who are still caught in the illusion of external validation. Many feel uneasy in their presence, not because the chosen ones seek to intimidate, but because they serve as a living mirror, reflecting the limitations that others place upon themselves. When people encounter someone who does not seek approval, who walks in confidence without arrogance, they begin to question their own insecurities. Suddenly, they are faced with the realization that they too could be free, yet they have spent their lives bound by invisible chains. This contrast is what triggers fear, discomfort, and even resentment. The chosen ones hold a spiritual frequency that disrupts the status quo. Their mere existence challenges the deeply ingrained belief that one must conform to be accepted. They expose the hidden fears of those who live by societal expectations rather than divine purpose. As Carl Jung stated, people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. And so, instead of embracing their own potential, many choose to resist the ones who embody true freedom. But make no mistake, this fear is not the fault of the chosen ones. Their energy is simply a catalyst, awakening something dormant in the people around them. They do not move through life trying to provoke reactions, yet their presence alone shakes the foundations of false beliefs. When you walk with divine authority, when you are whole within yourself, you no longer fit into the mold that society has created. And for many, that is terrifying. The chosen ones do not seek power over others. They simply walk in their own power. They are not loud, yet their silence speaks volumes. They do not demand respect, yet it is given to them, sometimes begrudgingly. Their path is not always easy, but it is one of purpose. They walk with wisdom, knowing that their journey is not about being liked, but about fulfilling a spiritual mission far greater than personal comfort. And that, more than anything, is what makes them truly feared. Comment below. I move with divine authority. If you embrace your power without seeking validation, let your presence speak for itself. 7. Unshakable confidence. Confidence is often mistaken for arrogance, but the confidence of the chosen ones is something entirely different. It is not rooted in external validation, wealth, or social approval. It comes from a higher purpose. This divine confidence is unshakable, unwavering, and beyond the reach of those who rely on the opinions of others to define their worth. The world is filled with people who constantly seek approval, adjusting themselves to fit expectations, trends, and fleeting acceptance. In contrast, the chosen ones walk their path with certainty, unbothered by praise or criticism. They do not need permission to be who they are, and this level of self-assurance unsettles those who are insecure. When people who depend on external validation encounter a chosen one, they feel an inexplicable discomfort. It forces them to confront their own doubts and fears, making them either drawn to the chosen one's energy or resentful of it. This quiet, authoritative energy cannot be manipulated or controlled. While the world is conditioned to respond to fear, flattery, and coercion, the chosen ones stand firm, unmoved by these tactics. They are immune to the pressures that shape the masses, making them unpredictable and, therefore, feared. Their presence alone is a disruption to the status quo, an undeniable force that challenges societal norms and expectations. This is why those in power, or those who thrive on controlling others, feel threatened. The chosen ones represent freedom. Freedom from fear. Freedom from the need for validation, and freedom from manipulation. They do not conform, they do not waver, and they do not seek approval. Instead, they lead by example, showing others that true confidence comes not from external validation, but from an unshakable connection to one's higher calling. To be a chosen one is to carry an energy that speaks louder than words. It is to walk with certainty in a world that thrives on doubt. And while this confidence may intimidate some, it also serves as a beacon of strength, for those ready to awaken to their own power. To affirm your divine confidence, declare your strength. Comment below, "I stand unshaken," to acknowledge your unwavering faith and inspire others to embrace their true power. The journey of the chosen ones is not an easy one, but it is a powerful and transformative path. Perhaps you have felt this calling deep within your soul, an unshakable knowing that you are meant for something greater. The world may fear you, but that is only because your light shines too brightly for those still trapped in the darkness. If this message resonates with you, don't forget to like this video, share it with others who need to hear it, and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom for more profound insights on your spiritual journey. Also, be sure to turn on notifications so you never miss our upcoming videos. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay awakened and keep shining your divine light.